Hey guys, this is Max Headspace 9mm, and if I could sum up the message that I want to give you on my channel for all these years, it is this: be prepared. Being prepared in an insecure world gives a lot of security. Now, in the gun community, that means having a firearm close at hand at all times. Living with firearms is something that is a serious step for people. It takes a lot of consideration. You shouldn't do it until you've had a lot of time to become proficient and safe. But when you're ready to make that step and become a concealed carry card holder, or maybe open carry in your state if they allow it, then you want to be prepared for that level of commitment. Now, I'll tell you something. Here's a sobering statistic. I have found that the majority of people who get their concealed carry license or commit to open carrying on a daily basis quit doing that within a year's time. Why is that? Well, there's a variety of reasons, but the main one comes down to a lack of comfort. See, most people who want to concealed carry aren't aware of what it feels like to carry around nearly 2 pounds of metal and plastic all day long everywhere they go. And eventually, they decide they don't want to do that anymore. It's just too uncomfortable. Well, one of the main things that you can do if you're going to make this commitment is, first of all, choose carefully the firearm that you're going to carry. You don't want something too big or too bulky, and we'll talk about that more later. But the other thing that you don't want to overlook, you want to consider just as carefully, is the kind of holster. And for most cases, I would say Kydex would be the best choice. And secondly, but even more importantly than a good holster, is a good belt. The belt that you carry your firearm with will determine how comfortable you are and whether or not you can go everywhere with that firearm comfortably. Otherwise, you're just going to discard the whole thing and give up in frustration. Trust me. So for years, my carry belt was a Cobra. I used this belt to carry, and it's a pretty simple system. It's got 2 little buttons, and it hooks together kind of like an airplane seat belt. And if you want to adjust it, you just kind of twist this while you're wearing it and pull on the strap or loosen it. One of the things I don't like about it is that it's very hard to put on. If you want to transfer this to another pair of pants, which you're going to have to do thousands of times, it takes about 10 minutes to fish this through all of your belt loops, get it adjusted, as well as this elastic band, which holds the loose flap on the end tight. Most people who have this system lose this elastic band and have to send in for a new one. And it's very hard to fish a floppy, loose end strap through your belts that is square cut like this one is. I can tell you it's very frustrating. And there's many times you're uncomfortable with this system. It's a rigid belt, which it's supposed to be to hold up the weight of the firearm. And it's not as easy to adjust. It's just not. When you get in the car, when you get home, when you change positions, you sit, you stand, you do whatever, you are going to have to adjust your carry belt multiple times a day. Maybe, I don't know, 10 to 30 times a day, depending on what you're doing. If you're physically active like me, you'll have to do it even more so. Well, I just got used to it. I put up with it. And I was approached by a company called Core Essentials. They'd seen my videos, and they asked me, would you like to try our belt? And I said, sure, I'd love to. And so that's the belt that I'm wearing right now. The Core Essentials belt uses an entirely different system. And I must tell you, when it comes to adjusting, it is an absolute breeze. If you want to loosen it, you just take this little cam right here, and you just twist it. Did you hear that click? Barely audible. That gave me 1 click of looseness, which is usually enough when I go from standing to sitting. Maybe I'm driving for a few hours. That's all I need. Maybe a nice meal at a restaurant. I don't know. I'll leave that up to you to decide. But when you need a little more space, that's all you have to do. And then that's all you have to do to tighten it. It's the simplest belt I have ever used, period. Now, it's just as rigid. In fact, it's slightly more rigid than my old Cobra belt, which I'm never going to use again. Because this belt is vastly superior in every way. Not only is it more rigid, not only is it more economical, in other words, it costs about half as much. There are many beautiful styles available on Core Essentials website, as well as hats and things, you know, that kind of match their style. And the thing is, if I want to change guns, and I do sometimes throughout the day, and when I'm home, I carry a different gun than I do when I'm at work so far, you know. Depending on the different times of year, I'll be wearing different clothes, and that changes everything as well. So right now, I'm carrying what I usually carry, which is my Glock 26. Now, normally my shirt will be covering over my gun. That's because I concealed carry. If I open carry, I can tuck in my shirt, and it looks just like this. It's just very easy to pull and draw, and it's right there. If I want to take this off for some reason, all I have to do is that, and I'm adjusted for carry without a gun. If I want to carry and make a little room for my gun, give myself 2 clicks, which I'm used to doing, and I'm ready to leave the house. So it's just that simple. You never have to worry about leaving the house without your gun again because, oh man, I don't want to put that thing on. It's great. If you get home and say you want to go out in the field, say you live out in the country, you want to open carry for a while, or you want to do some target practice, it's a great belt for that as well. Now, open carry outside the waistband means the belt can be tighter. You don't have to make space for it. I can also carry inside my pants with this belt, with the right kind of holster. I can do that with the last one, but I prefer outside, in between the pants and the belt. Now, this is a full-size holster gun. This is for open carry. So, let me just show you how this thing works. It's kind of amazing. Let me get this off first. I actually really like this belt. It's one of the best belts I've ever had. It is just as rigid as my Cobra. In fact, it's slightly more so. And let's see if I can show you this. So this is upside down. I'm going to turn it around. Okay. So here's how it works from the inside perspective. I don't know if you can see this, but there's all these ratcheting notches in here that connect with a spring-loaded tooth connected to this little cam lever right here. And this thing holds tight. It's never going to let go on you. And if you need to loosen, you just simply open this up and it loosens. And if you want to tighten, you just close it up. That's all there is to it. When it comes to fishing this through belt loops, it's much easier because it has a rigid end. This thing fishes through belt loops quite easily. Let's see, I'm going to go this way because that's the way I wear it. And you can put it on a fresh pair of pants in just a very short period of time without the kind of effort that the Cobra belt required. So I'm going to do it right now just to show you. It just takes basically about the same amount of time as any other belt would. So that's all there is to it. Easiest belt in the world. They come in many different styles and colors, and it is literally the last belt you will ever need to conceal carry your pistol again. So if you want some advice, get a Core Essentials belt if you're going to carry your firearm. It is the only belt that I will ever need again. Thanks for watching. This is Max Headspace 9mm. Have a good one.